Good morning all, and welcome to this first EAL webinar on Smarter Touch. My name is Geoff Laycock and I'm Quality and Customer Support Executive for EAL. Over the next 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to take you through Smarter Touch and explain how to get the most out of this system. This is the first in a series of Smarter Touch surgeries that EAL intend to deliver on a regular basis. This morning is to give you an overview of what the system can do, but without going into too much detail. As mentioned, I'll be holding follow-up webinars when you will get the chance to feed in topics that you would like me to cover in more depth. Can you please make a note of my email address, which is being displayed at the moment? Although Smarter Touch is a fantastic tool for helping you to manage your EAL assessment centre, like all tools, if you don't use them, they become rusty. So please, I encourage you to use the system as much as possible, as it is there to help you. Before I start, you will notice at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen a chat section. If you have any questions as I go through this session, please use this chat area to raise them, and given time, I'll pick these up at the end of the session. If I don't get the time, I'll cover them with one of my follow-up surgeries. Okay then, I'm going to start by logging into Smarter Touch, and I'm going to go in via the EAL website. Okay then, we're on the EAL website at the moment, and most of you will already, I would hope have already seen this screen. If you haven't already saved it as a favourite of yours on your desktop, I suggest you do so, because there's some real useful information available on here. There's information on registrations, certifications, expiry dates, new qualifications, etc., as well as case studies. But an area I want to point out before I log into Smarter Touch is this area here. If you are not already subscribed to any of these Tech Alert or Spotlights or In Touch, etc., can I please encourage you to do so, because information on the follow-up webinars are going to be issued through our Spotlight electronic e-bulletin. So please just enter your email address in there, select Spotlight, select any others as well if you want to, and simply subscribe. Okay, we're going to log into Smarter Touch. You would click on the EAL Centre, which is at the top of the page there. And then down the right-hand side here, we'll click on the Smarter Touch login. You'll see you come up with your home page. Your email address goes in there and your password. Click the login and then log into the system. This is the opening screen, the home screen, which you will all be familiar with. To start off with, I'm just going to give you a very quick overview of the different sections on this page. We have obviously My Centre documents. In the documents section there, it's where you can actually add your own documents into the system, such as policies, procedures, CVs, training materials, anything you like can go into this particular section here. EAL have their own document library where we add our own policies and procedures as well, and you can search for these by file name. You can have them in alphabetical order, you can have the type, you can have the reference number. There's all sorts of combinations. You can also do a search for things via the button at the top there. If you put a number in a search facility in that hasn't got anything in, you get it like I've just showed you there. But everything is in there that you would need to know about running your centre. Next one along the top there is users, and we've got 9 active users. That's the little number that's displayed beside there. And I'm going to talk about users a little bit later on, because we have 2 types of user. We have a general user and a super user. Beside there we have sites, and again the number there indicates the number of active sites which is on this particular centre. And the next tab is about staff, and this indicates 32 active staff on this centre. So I'm going to start the tour by going to My Centre. And when you click on My Centre, it opens up in this screen here. This screen gives you details and information about your centre, the type of centre it is, information on the organisation name, address, etc. Now you'll notice that when I click into this, it's actually editable. Right, and it's editable by super users. So if at any stage your centre needs to change its name for whatever reason, then a super user is able to update the information themselves. But It's critical if you do make any changes to this screen here, you must give a rationale as to why you have done it. And the rationale will be displayed in an audit tab here, so we know straight away who's changed it. In this case, it's Geoff Testing. It gives me the date and the time that was changed, and the rationale underneath here. As well as putting a rationale into there as to why you've changed your name or any details on this screen, it may be your address, etc., you must inform your EV and you must inform EAL customer care. It's obvious when you think about it, if you didn't inform your EV, for example, that you moved address, he could end up going to the wrong address when he's looking to visit you. Okay, so just please be aware of that. Qualifications. This is the tab which identifies the qualifications which is on your centre remit. Again, the first thing I want to point out here is that we have different flag settings for approval, registration and certification. If a flag is set to green, its certification is active. If a flag is set to red, in this particular example here, that means that certification has been suspended. Now, there's various reasons for suspending a certificate. It may be through an EV visit, or if it's a new qualification, EAL's policy is to suspend certification on any new qualification applications until the EV has had the opportunity to monitor them. But if you wanted to check what the reasoning behind anything that's on this screen is, you click on the audit tab and you'll see straight away what the information is down here, identifies as to why a particular rationale was put in. Another point on this screen here, which is useful, which you may not be aware of, but you'll see if you scroll down, there's some of the qualifications have been identified as certification expired. So if you're looking down this list and you find that you've got some qualifications on your remit which they have certification expired, then you might well get them taken off your remit. And to do that, all you would need to do is just simply copy and paste the title of the qualification into an email and send it to your EV and request the fact that you no longer are delivering this qualification, certification that's expired. Can he please remove it from the system? And he will do so. Okay. Centre contacts. This is a very, very important screen for you to keep up to date. All of the various boxes are editable. You will notice that the centre coordinators details there, they are editable, but you're unable to delete them. The reason for that is that when we set up any new centre, it is automatically set up with a coordinator. That's our first point of contact and our main point of contact. So you've always got to have a coordinator. These others are all optional, but it's useful for EAL if you can identify, for example, who your exams contact is or who the finance contact is. Because if we have an issue with exams or finances, etc., by going into here, EAL departments can look to see who they need to contact against any specific items. It's dead easy to edit things on here. You just simply click on the edit tab, identify what you need to change. Let's just correct that spelling mistake on there. And then just save your changes. And again, because the way the audit tab works, in the right hand side here, click audit, it'll show you straight away 26th of the 2nd at 8:38. Geoff Testing changed that particular Joe Smith's information. Okay, so that's how clever the system is. Also, if you need to add additional information or additional people to this system, let's for example say you needed to add a Skills for Life coordinator, you would simply click on the add button. If this person is already in the system registered, you've got a drop down menu and we can select George Williams as the other person who's also looking after this job and use that contact, and there you are straight away, George Williams' details have been updated. So please, if this information hasn't been updated, would you please do that for me? It's very useful from our point of view and also for your own point of view. The next tab is AO contacts. What we've done in here, we've only identified customer care as your main contact. If you've got any issues related to apprentice framework, certification, registration, exams, anything at all, first port of call would be customer care, and there's the email address and also the telephone number. Also, there's your external verifier, your EV is also able to help you with a lot of information related to the run of your centre, but first port of call would be customer care. Next tab down is risk. Every time your EV visits your centre and he does some monitoring, if he monitors, for example, governance and quality assurance, at the end of a visit, he has to set a risk rating. and it's displayed on here what the risk rating is. If it's been changed, for example, the previous rating on that was low, it's been changed to high. This one was low, it's been changed to medium. If you want to find out why things have happened on your risk, again, you've got an audit tab there. You can click on that, and it will identify, you know, one complaint in progress, a change of staff or whatever. So you've got a record of why your risk has actually changed. Next tab down is visits. This here identifies your next EV visit date, and that should be populated. If after this session you check your centre details and you go to this screen here and that isn't populated, please contact your EV and ask him if he can confirm what the next visit date is going to be. And then on the right hand side here, again, you'll have an audit trail which identifies what that visit's going to be all about. And what he's saying is he's checking on centre actions, particularly on that date. It's a remote engagement to check actions. Okay, so you've got a brief overview of what that particular visit is intended to be about. And then below here, you've got any previous visits that have taken place to your centre. And at any time you want to actually look at that, you can simply click on it. It'll open up the actual visit, and you've got that information there available to you. And if it's something that you need to supply to another organisation or another department within your organisation, you can actually print the form and you can do a hard copy of it, or you can actually print it to a PDF document so that you can then send it via an email. And again, when you're looking at what you can print out, you've got the option to be able to select various sections of the form by simply clicking on that, and all it would then do is print out the areas that you haven't selected. Okay, so it'll print out the engagement purpose, governance and quality assurance, etc. You just click here to print it, and you'll see you have the option there of either print into a PDF document or print into a printer. Very useful tool, but all of your previous visits are all listed there. Next one down is notes. Now this area here, again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to use this section. It's very useful to keep information such on standardization events. As you know, as an assessment centre, you've got to keep records of when standardization events have taken place. What better than to be able to enter information in here and then simply add a note, and then you've got an audit trail. Geoff tested on the 26th of February, 8:42, entered information on what we did on standardization. You've got information there on sites, on staff, key events, other. Okay, so please populate it. It is there for your use, and it's also there to help your EV when he's monitoring. Next one down is take up. This area here, if you are asked by senior management for information on registrations or certification over the last 6 months, 9 months, 3 months, 24 months, all of that information is available there to you. All you would do there is simply highlight it, and you could copy and paste that into a spreadsheet, and then you've got information at your fingertips to be able to supply it to your senior management if requested. And the final thing down here is the additional EAL information. Now again, you'll notice that this here is in an edit mode. That means that super users again can edit this area. So it's important that if anything is done on this area, then again, you've got to put a rationale as to what you've done with it. The important thing as well to note on here, if you were going into centre details and you changed your centre name, all right, you must then go into the additional EAL information and change the name in here and also the name on your certificate, because your centre name has to be the same as what appears on your certificate name. So please, again, when we finish the session here, have a double check to make sure that the name in your centre details, which is here, is the same as the certificate name, which is here. And certificate name too, that is not required. That is only there as an overflow. For example, if your centre name was over 40 characters in length, the rest of the name would appear in certificate name too. Otherwise, it is left blank. Do not enter NA in there as being not applicable, for example, because what would happen then, your certificates would be presented with QCS Test Centre NA. Okay, anything you do, again, you would save it at the bottom. And on the right hand side there, you will see that you've got an audit trail as to who's done what, etc., etc. And like the previous screen in your centre details, if you do change anything in here, you must enter a rationale and you must inform your EV and customer care. Okay, I'm going to go back now to the home centre, to the home section of the page. And you'll see on here that when we actually start looking along, we've got information there on your actions and also an inbox. I just want to pick up on the inbox to start off with. You'll see that there's 131 messages in this inbox. This is an EAL test center. So appreciate there's all sorts of information here which may not be of any use. It's just purely there that we use for testing. To look for a particular thing, I often get asked questions, where can I find an EV report or a qualification approval application? If you go to advanced search and you've got a drop down menu there, you can select any of the forms that's currently in the system. For example, qualification approval application, click on that, leave it defaulted to both, so it's in your organization or in EAL's organization, and then just search the forms. And what will happen then, it'll give you a full list of all of the qualification approval applications that's been made. If it's been closed, that means that it's been submitted to EAL and it's been accepted and sent back and closed off. But it's still in the system for you to be able to have a look at it, but it's closed. If it is still in the open mode, it means that somebody in your organization has actually created this form but hasn't submitted it. It may be that they created it just for a test or to be playing around with the system for whatever reason. But what I would ask you to do, if you find that you've got open forms in any of this section here that you're not going to use, simply click on it to open it. And at the bottom, in the EAL feedback, click on there. And in the private comments tab, just enter a note in there, please delete as created by mistake. Post that comment, it's in there in the tab there now. If you now return to the form overview and submit it to EAL, that's all you need to do. What will happen then, that will come through to me and I will get rid of it. Okay, so please bear that one in mind. It's a good way of keeping your system tidy. I just want to cover now the actions. These are outstanding actions which are on a sensor. What EAL have done, we've color coded these so that if it's just left plain like the top two are, then the deadline date is still current. If it's red, it means that that particular action has passed its deadline date and you should have done something about it. If it's in amber, then it's obviously approaching its deadline date. So please keep an eye out for these, because if it's in red, you're going to be in bother from the EV when he visits, because obviously you should have addressed that action. If it's in amber, it's a warning for you that you need to start taking action. Now, you don't need to wait for the EV to visit you before you address any actions that's on your sensor. Through the Smarter Touch system on the right-hand side here, under Start Anew, you'll see we've got an action risk response form. So all you would simply do, if, for example, this action here, which is 2641, was about supplying information on standardization minutes, you could click to action response form, create the form, and then when you actually come to the form itself, it's already in edit mode. You would literally attach the action, say it's that one there. The action is then automatically attached to there. You would identify in here minutes attached as an example, and then you can attach the minutes of the meeting via this document, via this area here. You would browse where the minutes of the meeting are kept, search for it, and then just simply upload the document. And it's as easy as that. Then all you would then do, save your changes and submit it to EAL. It will then go up to EAL, and your EV will look at what you've sent him in, and if he's happy, he will close that action off. And it's as easy as that for you to keep on top of what your actions are. Once the EV has closed it off, it will disappear from this screen area here. So please keep an eye on those there. Okay. Other areas in this section here are qualification approval, which I want to pick up with you all as well. This is the one that most of you use on quite a regular basis. This is the form that you would use if you want to add any new qualifications to your centre remit. To start off with, you select the qualification that you want to add. We've got a fantastic search facility in here now, so you can put in the actual number of the qualification, or you can give it whatever it is, like for example business, and you can select one, two, you can select as many qualifications as you like to attach to that one qualification application form. If once you've selected them, you think, oh, I didn't intend to select that one, just simply click on that and it gets rid of it. So you can add as many as you like, but please be aware that because I sometimes get applications through with a single qualification on, then 2 minutes later I'll get another one with a single qualification on, and so on. Okay, so please, any multiple quals can be put on the same application form. Once you've selected those, you simply create the form, and like all of the forms, it is in an editable mode to start off with. That means you can start working on the form straight away. And each of these sections are mandatory. You've got to put something in them, and it's got to make something common sense. I'm just going to put test in each one of them just to populate it quickly. Now, as you go down the form, each of these, which are they're all mandatory unless it states otherwise. If you go to save your changes and you miss something out, it will automatically give you an error message, and you search down, you can see where you should have put some additional information in. Once you're satisfied that you've entered all that, you save your changes. Now, a lot of you at that stage tend to have been submitting that to EAL, but there are another 2 sections of the form that you need to complete. That's the staff physical resources, and you'll see that that is blanked out. It means you can't do anything on it until you click on this area here, which is work on this section. So you select that, which then opens this for you to then be able to edit. And you've got to read through all of these and make sure that you've got these in place within your center. If you think you haven't and you miss something out, you go down, you think, well, I'm not quite sure about that. If you go to save your changes, it won't let you, because you cannot submit the form unless you have everything in place relating to these questions here. Okay. So going back to the form there, select them all. And if you've used this form on a regular basis, you know that you've got all these in place for the qualifications, there is a select all tab. So you can click on that and save your changes. And again, it'll appear there, little green man, identifying who's done the changes and the date and the time. Go to the overarching declarations, which is the same process, work on this section. Again, you need to make sure that you go through each of these and read them and make sure that you're satisfied that you can meet all of those. If you know that you are, because you've filled several of these in before, we have got a select all tab on there as well, which you can use. And again, go down to save your changes. Now, that is the form completed in the top section, but I want to quickly cover the bottom area, which is about adding user assignments. You click on the add user assignments, and this means that if there's somebody else in the organization that needs to be aware of this form, you can select them on here and you can mark it for their information. And that means that when this form gets submitted to EAL, this particular user, which is in this case Lily Smith, will also get an alert to say that you've actually applied for the qualification. All you would then do is submit it to EAL, and that is your job done. Okay. The final section on here that I want to talk to you about is key EAL documents, and these are from our document library, and they are what we feel are really important for you to know about. So, for example, the price list is always kept up to date and placed on here. Center user guide, you'll see the more we are using version 7 of the user guide. I'm working on version 8 at the moment, which will be available later on next month. Okay, so again, once that is launched, it will appear here in the key EAL documents. Now, mentioned there about users, so I'm going to go back up now to the user tab here. You see there's 9 users on the system here, and quite a lot of them are what we call general users. On your center, you can have as many general users as you want, but we recommend that you only have 2 super users. The reason that we recommend only 2, the super user has complete access to anything within the Smarter Touch system. And if you go back to when we were talking about My Center, a super user can edit information that's in here. And if you've got several super users, you're going to have difficulty controlling them possibly. And there's a danger that they may delete something from any of these areas here. And if it's been deleted, it could cause you problems going forward. Okay, so please be aware, users, as many general users you like, that's assessors, internal verifiers if you wish, but for super users, please keep it to a minimum. On sites, there's 19 active sites on here, but again, I just want to mention about the sites. It's important that you do keep a record of the sites that you're actually using. And the reason behind that is that, as you are well aware, any qualifications that you deliver, the only qualification NVQ that you can deliver in a training centre or a college is PEO. Any other NVQs must be delivered on a site. So it's crucial that you identify what that site is and what qualification it is that they are delivering. Now, it's dead easy to add a site. You simply click on the Add a Site tab there, and the only mandatory field in here is the top one. Just put trip test there, for example. These are all optional. We're not particularly interested in what the address is or anything like that, the country, etc., but we do need the site name. And you add that site there, and it then goes onto the system. What you've then got to do, if you do add a site, it's important that when you've actually added the site to the system, that you link it to the qualifications that that site is actually delivering. So you just add or remove the qualification and assessment site, and click finish. And then that then has been linked to them two qualifications, or you see it's identified on there. Okay, and the final one is staff. On the staff side of it, we have a situation where all of your staff are listed within the centre remit, and against each staff member you will see that you've got a details tab, and in that details tab we expect you to have identified what their achievements are, whether they've got D32, CERDED, etc., etc. But beside that we have a documents tab, and it's useful and important for you to, if possible, add CVs or certificates to this particular documents tab here, because it's useful for your EV to do a monitoring when he's actually in your centre. And again, all staff need to be linked to qualifications. And again, you've got an add or remove link button there, and all the qualifications which are on your remit are listed down here, and you would simply tick the tab applicable to that individual, click finish, and it's as simple as that for adding your different staff. Now, as far as that is at the moment, I've given you a whistle-stop tour of the system. I've now just about come up to my time, so I'm just seeing if we have any questions that's being put to me at the moment that I can possibly try to answer before I close off. Let's have a look. Yeah, somebody's asked a question about how you print your visit reports. Well, if we go to the My Centre tab there, and you go down to the visits, we have a situation there that these are all your visits listed there. You simply click on the actual visit that you're wanting, and then you go down the bottom of the form, and you've got a print form tab there. Click on that, and it brings you up with this screen here. If you don't unselect any of these, it will print all of the form. But if, for example, you only wanted to print out the engagement purpose and the centre update, you would simply click the rest of these here and say do not print them. And then go to the click print here tab, click on that, and then select the printer. You can, if you've got a PDF creator set up on your computer, you can print it straight to a PDF creator. If you haven't got a PDF creator, you can get them downloaded for free off the website. Okay, so bear that one in mind, or otherwise you just send it direct to one of your printers. Okay, and you just click print, and that would be it done, as easy as that. Somebody's asked a question here saying that they've tried to type in a number for a statement, there's no matching record. Now, the reason that there might be no matching record is that particular qualification has probably expired. So that is one of the common faults. If you're trying to search for a qualification and you put the qualification number in, there's a good chance that the reason that you can't find it is that it has expired. If that isn't the case, then please contact customer care, who will try and help you with that. What is the maximum number of documents you can upload at any one time? You can upload up to about 12 documents at any one time. I'm not going to go into any great detail because I know I'm running out of time. I'm just going to very, very quickly go into this. If you want to add a document there, you can simply click on the multiple documents there, select your files, and as you then add each file, it will give you the option to add up to about 12 different documents at the same time. And what you can do, once you actually identify the documents in here, You can set it away to upload the files. It'll take, depending on what the volume of the files are, but you can go away and make yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and it'll upload them and be ready there for you when you come back. So we have a multiple document upload. Now, there's still one or two other questions coming in, but I'm conscious now that the time is up. So what I would like to do is that I'll add the other questions to the topics that I'll cover in more depth in the Smarter Touch webinar surgeries. Now, as I mentioned there, information about these surgeries will come via our EAL e-newsletter, which is Spotlight. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so as soon as possible. And you'll see that there's going to be a link to this webinar via the Spotlight in the future. So anything that's going to happen now relating to the webinars will come via the Spotlight. Okay then, so all that leaves me now to say is I'd like to wish you all a very good morning, and I hope that you've found this session useful, and look forward to dealing with you again in the future. Thank you.